A lot of guys, when they first come to me, they want me to like fix their wife, right? Or they try to do things in order to fix their wife. It's like you can't control what she's doing. You can only control yourself. That's sort of a stoic, you know, way of thinking. You can't make her love you. All you can do is make yourself more fuckable, right? Make yourself more attractive, right? She either gets on board or she doesn't. You can't control what she's going to do, right? You have to control the controllable. You only have control over your thoughts and actions. That's it. That's the only thing you have control over. Um, you want detachment from external validation. That's a hard thing when it comes to dread game too, right? So stoicism prevents emotional instability from others' opinions. So a lot of guys, when they come to fix a relationship, this has nothing to do with AJ's book. That's just a concept from it. But when people want to fix their relationship, a lot of times their motivation is to get their wife to do something specific, right? Like get my wife to fuck me again. That's an example. So everything they do, they're doing it to see what kind of reaction their wife is doing, you know? And so they have this, they're sort of seeking validation when they do that. And when she's not reacting the way that they think she should, and she's not giving them that validation, well, that sort of makes them want to quit doing the work and making themselves a better person, making themselves more fuckable. So the key, it's almost like a paradox, right? In order for dread game to fully work, you have to stop focusing on your wife and her reactions to the stuff. Although it's kind of a nice to know thing. Like, is she responding well to this or isn't she? If she is or isn't, it doesn't matter. Like you got to look at it like you're like a science experiment, right? You're just taking data. You don't really care if she responds good, great. If she responds bad, great. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, right? You have to let go of that attachment to outcome. And when you do that, when you detach from that external validation of your wife's reactions to stuff, now you're actually going to start seeing serious results because you're not you don't have that validation seeking behavior anymore, which is an unattractive trait, right? So it's like it's hard to get guys there because their initial motivation is to get their wife to do something specific, right? So it's like, okay, that's your initial motivation. Now we got to forget all about that. it's hard to get guys to wrap their minds around that. Maintaining composure under stress, right? A calm, rational approach reinforces your masculine presence, right? If you are the strong, steady rock during adversity, people definitely respect that more. They trust your leadership more. They want to follow your lead more. That's all. You have to like work at that though. It's not easy. Leveraging physical training for emotional strength. So mental resilience through physical pain. We talked about that a little bit, right? Hard training builds the ability to withstand discomfort, right? If you go to a boxing gym and you're sparring every day and you're taking hits and stuff like that, like at first it might suck, but eventually you get sort of used to it. It makes you not scared in a fight to be able to take a punch. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. It's the same thing. If you put yourself through that kind of physical adversity, you can overcome lots of different things, daily discipline translates to life. So commitment to fitness mirrors commitments to emotional growth. When you become more disciplined in like one area of your life, it's way easier to compound and become more disciplined in other areas of your life, But that's one of the big reasons why Red Pill says hit the gym, right? Get disciplined in the gym because that's a good starting place to develop that discipline. Examples of high achievers in the book. He gives a shout out to John Fitch. Basically all of us on the Rule Zero panel, but specifically he gives a shout out to John Fitch, former MMA world champion, RP Thor, who developed this book series and wrote the original A Dominant Masculine Presence, and he gave a shout out to me, which is really cool. Thanks, AJ. And he showcases the link between training and emotional fortitude. And then we have a long-term commitment to emotional resilience. So you got to realize that building this emotional resilience and eventually emotional durability, it's not a quick fix. It's not overnight. It's one of the things I talk about in Psychology Paradigm. You can't read that book once and then automatically have a dominant masculine paradigm, And one of the things I recommend you do is at the very least, get the audiobook of my book. I don't think AJ is working on a audiobook. Thor was, but Thor, he's not feeling well. So I don't know if that's ever going to get done, but I have an audiobook out for my book, and I recommend you at least listen to it 10 to 15 times, if not like once a year after that, because just listening to this stuff on repeat is going to help build that mental framework up, seep it into your subconscious mind, seek it into your paradigm so it becomes a habit, but it's going to take a long time to build that up, especially if you were never taught this growing up. You've got to sort of create new habits around this. So daily practices are key, right? So small disciplined efforts creates the lasting impact, and then a strong masculine presence is created through that consistency. So being able to endure hard times, going through your physical training and being able to endure that kind of physicality, all that kind of stuff, and lead, all that kind of stuff, having that strong masculine presence, that's going to come from that sustained commitment to working on those types of things. And then finally, we have integrating emotional durability with a life purpose. What is your purpose? With my coaching clients, with my my one-on-one coaching clients, if you go to call.fixdeadbedrooms.com, the guys that want to work with me and they're a good fit for the program, like one of the things I have them do is figure out what the fuck their purpose is. Like, do you even know, like if I asked you today, what's your purpose in life? A lot of people think, oh, well, I'm a construction worker, like they think purpose is whatever career field they're in or whatever job it is. It's not necessarily. And I was telling this to a client last night, because this is exactly what we're working on. We're working on his personal mission statement. And one of the things I told him, I said, I have this friend who, when I knew him, he was a desktop tech, right? And desktop techs make decent money. They aren't in the 6-figure club by any means, but they make pretty good money. And he was a pretty good desktop tech. And the thing is that that's not what his mission was. That's not his purpose in life. His passion was music. He was a drummer in a band, and he would play in a local band in San Diego. And at night, he and his band would go and play the clubs around town. And on the weekends, they would travel up and down the coast and play in various venues and stuff up and down the coast. But he couldn't make a living at that. So he was a desktop tech to pay the bills, right? But if you ever asked him, like, hey, what do you do, man? Like, what, like when people ask you, what do you do? Most people tell what your profession is. He would say, oh, I'm a musician. I'm a drummer. Right. Well, and then I'm like, you don't tell people you're a desktop tech? He goes, no, man, that's just a job. That's just a job. Right. So your purpose in life doesn't have to be the work you do. It could be something that you're really passionate about, So something to think about. Right. But purpose as the driving force. So a strong purpose strengthens emotional resilience. Like if you have a why, like a reason why you're doing this, and it can't be your wife, right? It's got to be something about you, something personal to you. Because a lot of times when I'm sitting these guys down saying, what's your purpose in life? And they're like, oh, I want to be a good husband and a father. And it's like, it's all about them, and it's like, that's because we're conditioned to be plow horses, to set ourselves on fire, to keep everybody else warm. But it's never about you being your own mental point of origin and being like, yeah, I go to the gym because I want to be the best in the best physical fitness for myself, right? I want to live to be 200 fucking years old, so I'm going to eat right. I'm going to do all this stuff, right? It has nothing to do with the family. It's like, why am I doing this? And if you don't make it about you, you got a weak foundation there, right? So you've got to make this stuff about you. Like, what's your purpose? What's driving you forward? What makes you want to get up in the morning, right? And having that purpose gives you that why, like all this other stuff that will help you along that path, that vision. Like, it's much easier to do, when you have a purpose and a vision and a goal that you're working towards. Like, so all this other stuff sort of works towards that. Alignment with core values, right? Staying true to your values reinforces that discipline. Like, if you make this important to you, you're going to want to do it more, right? If it aligns with your core values. But most people don't sit down and think about like, what is it that I truly value in life, you know? And then the path to fulfillment, right? So emotional durability allows men to pursue meaningful, purpose-driven lives. And the thing is about like when you become a purpose-driven man, you become so attractive, not just to women, but just everybody. Like if you just gravitate people towards you. People love being around a guy that's on a mission that's going somewhere, right? Especially women though, you know. And if you are the kind of guy that has no ambition and you know you lack any kind of focus or goals or anything like that, you know, like you're just sort of wandering through life, letting life happen to you, like it it's just like you're not in control of your life. You know, life happens to you and you just sort of react to everything. But once you become a purpose-driven man where you set goals and you have a vision and you're like, I'm working towards this thing, now you start making life happen for you. You know, it's a lot of the stuff that I talk about when I talk about like my woo-woo law of attraction stuff, but it's just an excellent framework for life of, and it allows you to take control of that, of your life, and send it in the direction that you want it to go. And then life stops happening to you, you know, life stops happening for you or starts happening for you at that point. All right, guys, that's all I got. Get AJ's book. We're almost done. We only have one episode left where we're going to go over chapter 10. That's next week. What is chapter 10? Chapter 10 is on, let's see here. There's also a conclusion too, but I'm not doing conclusions when I'm going through these books. Hold on. Where is chapter 10? Chapter 10 is on emotional durability and your life purpose. So we're really going to get into purpose next week, which is good. Because if you've had a hard time thinking about your purpose, it's so hard. It's so hard. It's like when I'm going through my coaching program, having guys think about what their purpose in life is, it's really hard because it's almost like, it's really hard to like, you know, most people have never sat down and thought about that sort of thing.
New episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Subscribe now.